Once again, welcome everybody. This is Daniel. We are about to get started here with our challenge number 4 at our app customization specialist Superbadge part number 4. Okay. So this part, it's one of the areas I like the most is reportings. Building reports, building dashboards. So this one's we're gonna have a little bit of fun here. Okay, so going back to the Trailhead, it says report on app data. The ability to accurately report on top volunteers, organizations, and other metrics is what separates the volunteer tracker from shooters. The sign-up sheet on a clipboard in the Ursa Major break room. The volunteerism board has been using. To accomplish this, Maria helped you map out 2 custom report types. Okay, so that's the first thing, 2 custom report types. And 5 reports. A DAT and a dashboard that will come into play when surfacing the app. A couple of notes before getting started. Create 2 folders, volunteer reports and volunteer dashboards, and store reports and dashboards in the correct respective folders. Continuous testing and reevaluation is key for a successful app builder to create a valuable product that matches project requirements, such as you likely created a number of different volunteer activities, volunteer jobs, and other records for testing along the way. If not, do so now, or these reports will be very sparse. Okay. All right. So what does that say? Basically, we gotta create some folders. We gotta create some report types. Create some reports and a dashboard. Okay, so those are 4 things, right? Alright, so first thing, you want to go to reports. So go up here, look up reports. Okay, that takes you to reports. Then you need to create some folders. Okay, so you're gonna create a couple folders, and one folder is called volunteer reports. Okay, so you create your volunteer reports just like that, and then you're going to create your volunteer dashboards. Okay, so that volunteer dashboards is going to be in dashboards, right? So you're going to go dashboards, and then here you create a folder volunteer dashboards, right? Right. Okay, so you create your folders, right? So let's go back to the reports. Let's see, reports. Alright, so once you got your folders, that's where you're gonna save all your stuff to those folders, right? Next thing you want to do is report type. Okay, this is the part that was the most confusing for me. I couldn't find that anywhere. What report types? Okay, I remember it's where you take objects. Okay, so what are report types? When you create a report, like let's say you create a new report, see the report objects, the report type, a lot of these are pre-created from Salesforce, right? But the type of report that we're trying to create, we're using custom objects, right? So those custom objects, you need to create a new report type so you can report on those new custom objects. Okay, so we're going to do that now. Okay, so to create a new custom report type, we're gonna go into our setup again. So let's go to setup, and then you're gonna look up report types. Okay. So see, it tells us to create this report type, user with volunteer shift worker records. Okay. So the first one is user with volunteer shift workers. Okay. So you create a new report type. So the primary object is going to be user, right? So users with volunteer shift workers. Okay, so it's going to be the primary object is user. Okay, users. And then here's where you're going to use your name. You're going to name it. Okay. I put a 1 because I already created it. And then you can put a description. Okay, so you can describe it however you want, but it needs to have a description. Okay, so you can just copy enables reports on users if they have at least one associated volunteer shift worker. Okay, so after we create this, we need to create some data. Okay. Some people signing up. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. Okay, and then category. Okay, this is gonna be what's the category? Okay, this thing category. Okay, it's gonna be other reports. Okay, so category is other, and it's gonna be deployed. Okay, make sure you deploy it. Alright, so primary object is users, you name it, put a description, it's going to be an other report, and it's in development. Okay, so we got our reports. Alright, so now this is where we're gonna relate the reports. Okay, so we got our users, and the related object is gonna be volunteer shift worker. Okay, so we got volunteer. Yeah, I don't know why this is not in order, but look for volunteer shift worker. So see, these are all the things that are related to user. Okay, so one of those things is gonna be, okay, here it is, volunteer shift workers. Okay. Okay, so yeah. Oh, wait. It's volunteer shift worker. Where you go? Okay, volunteer shift worker. Alright, and then it says each A record, each user must have at least one shift volunteer worker. Okay. So it has to have it for this to work. Okay. So we just hit save. Alright, so that's our record type. That's all you have to do. Okay. 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 So that's our record type. Let me double check on that. Make sure. Yeah, that's all we did. Okay. So there's our volunteer shift record, and then the second is accounts with volunteer activities with volunteer jobs. Okay, so this one is relating 3 things. Okay, so pretty much same thing. So we're gonna create and it's going to be at the object is going to be accounts. Okay, so this has to do with accounts, the people creating the opportunities. Okay, the volunteer positions and all that. And then you just copy your label here. Okay, just copy that. And then description, you can just copy that too. Okay, and then it's going to be other, again, other reports, and deploy. Alright, so it's gonna, the primary object is accounts. Yes, we are live, Chantel. We are live. Alright. So you create your report. Alright, so now your report type, so now the account, so here it says, okay, so accounts with volunteer activities with volunteer jobs. So it's going to be volunteer activities. Volunteer activities. And it says include accounts with at least one volunteer activity that has at least one volunteer job associated. Okay, so it's going to be have a volunteer activity with at least one volunteer job. Okay. And see, when you're taking the test, this is one of the questions. They say how many things can you relate to a record type? You can do 4. Okay. See, object limit reach. See, you can associate up to 4 objects to a custom record type. Okay. So on this one, we're just doing 3. But whenever you guys take a test, that was one of the questions I got. How many objects can you relate to a record type? 4. Alright, so we got our account that has at least one volunteer activity that has at least one volunteer job. Okay. So that's going to be the report we're going to be pulling. Alright, so just save that. Alright, so that's our record type. That part I didn't understand at the beginning. That was the hardest part for me. But we got our volunteer record types created. Okay. So that's the first step. We got our account. So first step was create the folders. Second step was create our record types. 2 record types. One that was the users related to volunteer shift workers, and the second record type was accounts with volunteer activities and volunteer jobs. Okay. All right. So once we have our record types, now we can go back to our reports and we can create our reports. Okay. So now, when you look in this list, you're going to notice all the way down here, see, we got our custom record types here, see. So we got our users with volunteer records and our accounts with volunteer activities and volunteer jobs. Okay. So, okay, so I said the first report we're gonna create here, it says my top volunteer organizations. Okay, so that has to do with the accounts, right? Because it says my top volunteer organizations. So volunteer organizations is the accounts that are volunteering the most, that have their workers volunteer the most. Okay, so we have climbing a mountain feels less like work and more like an accomplishment. When you look back and you see how far you come, in the same way the my top volunteer organizations report shows each user which organization they volunteer with, the time volunteered, and the total volunteer hours. Using custom record type, with user data. Oh wait, okay. So this one has to do with the person actually. So it says using a custom record type with user data, create a summary report grouped by volunteer organization, showing each organization cumulative hours and no other columns. Sort high to low by hours. Details aren't necessary. The report should include only shifts where the volunteer confirmed or showed up. Okay, so confirm or completed, right? And it should display only records where the viewer is the volunteer. Okay, so this is just, all right, so this is going to show me which organizations I have volunteered with the total hours, going from the most to the least. Okay, and only opportunities that I had confirmed or I have completed. Right, so those are requirements for this first one. Okay, so it's gonna be user, right? User with volunteer shift and volunteer record. Okay, so we're gonna use that one. I'm gonna use the new one I created, make sure that works. Alright. Okay, so I got, and okay, so we're gonna name it my volunteer organization. Okay, my top volunteer organization. So you hit here to rename it. Okay, so my top volunteer organization, and then it's gonna be grouped by the organizations, right? So group by yeah, and this one I had really big trouble because I missed a field. So make sure you have all the fields, because there's a field here, volunteer organization, right? So volunteer organization, you need to have the same field in 3 places. Okay, if you go up here, it doesn't kind of show you right away, but status volunteer, the volunteer organization. See, it says volunteer organization, connect volunteer organization to account with roll-up summary. Okay, it's in the relationship part. It's talking about the relationship. Where you go? Oh, relationship. Okay. Oh, look right here. Volunteer organization, volunteer job, volunteer shift, and volunteer shift worker. Display the associated organization name. So make sure that volunteer organization is display. That's a formula, right? So yeah, I was missing that and I was going crazy because I couldn't find volunteer organization. So make sure you do that part. Okay. Alright, so going back to our report. Okay, so we got our volunteer organization. That's being grouped. That way it groups it. And then the columns is they want us to show which organization to volunteer with, the time volunteered. Okay, so let's see what we got for time. Okay, we can do this too. So that's the cumulative. Let me see. Okay, let's take a look at that report. traffic. Okay, shift hours. Alright. Okay, so we got here shift number, right, number, shift. Oh, wait. Okay, so we got shift hours. Alright, so our columns, we're gonna have okay, so we got our total volunteer hours, which is going to be our shift hours. Using the custom report type with user data, group by volunteer organization, showing each organization cumulative hours and no other columns. Okay, so they just want the organization and the hours. Okay, where the volunteer confirmed or showed up. Okay, so that's the filters. So we're gonna have a filter of status, right? Let's see. Status. Okay, so confirm and completed. Okay. And then let's see. And it should display only records where the viewer is the volunteer. Oh, and then it has to be is, right? Is okay, so here all users. This could probably be all time. Okay, see, and then here is, okay, is shift volunteer true? Okay, so that means it's the person, right? Okay, all right, so make sure it's the person, they confirm and completed, and that can be all time. And then we just want to show our hours group by organization. Okay. Okay, and then just go ahead and save that. And then here you're gonna select the folder. Make sure you select your folder where you want to put it in. Your volunteer reports. Okay, I'm gonna put it in my new volunteer reports. Well, you just go ahead and put it in the folder and select folder. All right, and save it. Great. All right, so that should be your first. How did you get into tracker app? Oh, okay, because you got to create the volunteer tracker app. That you're gonna create that later. because you're not to that point. That's number 5, to create the volunteer tracker app. Step 5. Okay, I want to shout out to Chantel from New Jersey and her team over there, that they're completing their super badges this week. Alright, so right now we're creating the reports in step 4. Okay, so our first report, my top volunteer organization. So if you want to check that really quick, make sure you got that one done. You guys can check that. It's good to check after you complete each process, because that way you kind of like know you're going down the line. All these checks are in order. So yeah. So okay, so first step was we created the folders, we created our report types, we created our first report. Okay, so you can test it out. At least that should be working now. Okay, and then on to sort it. Okay, so sorting it, when you're sorting, you just don't simply click on that, right? You want to sort by sum of shift hours. Okay, so when you do sort by, so this is gonna report the organization that has the most hours, right? So you kind of like, okay, so it's going down with the one that has the most hours. Okay, subtotal 200 hours here, subtotal 56. All right, now if you don't have any report, any numbers in here yet, you gotta create some opportunity, some volunteer shifts. Okay, so that but when sorting, make sure you have sum of shift hours, and then you hit the down. See it says sorted by sum of shift hours, and then it's going down. Okay, descending. All right, so we're just gonna save that. Okay, so we got our first report. Okay, and then if you need to create some opportunities, you're gonna go to an account. Okay, and then you might have to create a new account, because when you're creating see, when you create an account, see, there's a record type now. See, so you got business account and volunteer organization account. So you got to create your volunteer organization accounts. Now, so you just create your volunteer and see it's really short. See, this is what we did in step 1 and 2. All right, so you just need a name, and then we're gonna do accepting activities. Okay, so that makes it active. All right, so once you create your account, then you go to related, right? And then see, you got volunteer activities. So you're gonna create a new volunteer activity. We're gonna call this one food pantry. Right? For Feed Hope Now, they got a food pantry. And we're gonna create another one. We're gonna create diaper assistance. By the way, I'm part of a nonprofit here in Orlando. It's called Orlando Dream Center. We have food pantry and diaper assistant programs. If you're interested in supporting our organization, you can check us out at www.orlandodreamcenter.com. That's orlandodreamcenter.com. And you can make donations. You can see what events and activities we got going on, and support our organization. Yeah, we started using Salesforce about a year ago, and I became the administrator by default, and accidental administrator, which now has become an intentional administrator, and soon to be awesome administrator. I just passed my Salesforce administrator certificate last week. right before we had this event here. Florida Dreaming was an awesome event. We got to meet a lot of people, some people that I haven't met before by joining some of our Salesforce Saturdays and different events. Last year, this is the second year of Florida Dreaming. It was really awesome, and learned and got a lot of swag. You can see some of our things back there. All right, so but just coming back here, so we created our volunteer activities. So we're gonna go now create a volunteer job. Okay, so food pantry needs a registration. Okay, and then you can fill out all that other, and we're looking for people that are general manual labor and accounting, okay, and computers. Okay, and then you want to put a description, register clients. Okay, and then we're going to create another okay, food pantry worker, and then that's pretty much general. Okay, food pantry donations. Okay, so we need a lot of those. Okay, so these are 2 jobs. So for registration, we go to related, and we have we got 1 shift. We got volunteer shift name, registration worker. Okay, so we need 2 people for registration, and that's gonna be this Wednesday at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Okay. All right, so we got 1 job for that, and then we're gonna go back. This is kind of okay. So food pantry. Okay. See, it's kind of like hierarchy. It's, if I had to do this, I would do it a little bit different, but for the sake of this Superbadge, we're gonna do these jobs, and we're gonna sign up for them. Okay. So for the food pantry, we're gonna create a shift here, and for that same event, okay, food pantry. General pantry worker. Okay. And we need 4 of those, and it's gonna be that same day from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Okay. All right, so we got our shifts. Okay, so now if we knew people, like, this is when like if I wanted to sign up somebody, Sally or Dan Wong, so this sends them an approval supposedly. Okay. See, me, Daniel, I'm signing Dan Wong. So that should have triggered the email. Let's see. Okay, so your new self-service password. Huh. Oh, okay. But just for that, we're gonna sign ourselves out for this shift here too. There should be okay, sign me up. See, so we can just self-assign us here. All right, so this is to come, and then all right. So at least that lets you put in some data in there. All right, so you got to do that a few times so you can get some data in your report. All right, so now we're gonna do shift pending approval report. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to reports. So we're gonna create a new report. All right, so this one, okay, so these reports, there's 4 of them that's to the user and then 1 for the account, okay? So this one is another one for the user, okay? So this one says, my shift pending approval, okay? So this is gonna be a user volunteer shift worker record, okay? And then this one has to do, okay, so let's see. Did your well-meaning teammate sign you up for a shift again without asking? The My Shift Pending Approval report will show a user which of their shifts still need to be confirmed or canceled. Using the custom report type, user data, create a tabular report showing the volunteer shift worker ID. Okay, volunteer shift worker ID, volunteer shift start, volunteer shift activity, volunteer shift job, and volunteer organization. Only pending shifts for this volunteer should be displayed. Okay. So gotta get rid of all these. Okay. So the first one is create a tabular report, okay, and it says volunteer shift worker ID. Okay. So we can search, okay, let's see, worker. Oh wait, which one did I pick? I picked the wrong one. Okay, you gotta create a new report with the user with volunteer shift worker. Okay. Okay, there we go. So now you want volunteer shift worker ID. Let's see, worker. Okay, volunteer shift worker ID. Okay, and see, there's 2 of them. You don't want the second one. you want this one, because this one's the clickable one. So you want to be able to click on it, so you can get rid of that one. Okay, so that's the one you want. All right, and then shift start time. Okay, so shift start time, volunteer activity, volunteer organization. Okay. Only pending okay, so now so you want pending. Okay, so status, you want the status and pending approval. Okay, and then the range, I guess anything in the future, because it's so you can probably do okay, it doesn't specify how much time, so I guess that's fine, but anything in the future. So this is like the quarter, I guess, to the end of the month. You can do if you want something like specific, you can do activity date. Wait, that's activity. Okay, so you can do created date, or okay, start shift time. You can do that like anytime. Like you can do 60 days, I guess, or next 60 days. Let's see. This is what was the other one? Oh, but see, these already passed. See, these are past. These were just in the future. So you could have done, let's just do all time. But if they specified time, you can do like when that activity is taking place, when the activity date is, 60 days, 30 days in the future, whatever. Okay. This is going to show everything because these already passed, but anything in the future is going to show us there. Okay. All right. But it just needs to be pending. So okay, and then I think let's see, you can want a tabular. Okay, we want to name this report my shift pending approval. And we want it to be a tabular report. I guess that's a tabular report already. Okay, we can save it. Okay, make sure you put it in that folder. Your volunteer report folder. Save it. Okay. So I think that's a tabular report, right? All right. So here's our shift that's coming up. Okay, I think we want to sort it too. So let's go in and edit, and we're going to sort it by start shift day, ascending, right? Descending. Or it can be, does it say? Only pending, okay. well, you want to sort it either way, but it shows the latest first, or you can show the soonest first. You just want to sort it so it's in order. Okay, so I think that's that. Let's take a look at the one I did. Was that one? My shift pending. Oh, is volunteer pending approval all time. Oh, okay, so those are mine. Okay, so then one more thing you got to do is, where we go? Let's go back to your report. Approval. Then it has to be we forgot the filter. So make sure is volunteer is shift volunteer true. So that's you, the person. Now, since it's me already, everything's already, but we can go and so we can see some data in here, because that's usually when somebody else signs you up. But if I can go to my thing here, let's see. Oh wait, save it. Okay, so if I go down, what if we go to our, how do we get there? Okay, so let's just go and take a look at one of the things I just signed up for. Okay, registration. Let's say for this registration one, okay, I'm gonna sign up for registration. And I'm gonna put myself pending. Okay. Let's put Daniel. Okay, so I'm pending. Okay. So see, shift volunteer is confirmed because we have an automatic process that confirms it. So unless somebody else, I'll have to sign in to some app. Let's see if I can just change this to pending. Confirm. So it automatically confirms me because I'm doing it for myself. But if somebody else signs me up, I guess that's gonna put it as that. Yeah. Okay. All right, but this one should be done. So you can test it out. Go ahead and test it out. We're going to continue here. My upcoming shifts, okay? So this one is pretty much the same as this one, but it's going to have more detail, and it's going to be for the okay, so let's read what it says. Even the best volunteer needs a reminder now and then. My upcoming shift report shows a user which of their confirmed shifts are starting in the next 30 days. Let's go back to volunteer. Reports. I'm gonna create a new report. This one's the user again. User. And then, okay, it says, okay, volunteer shift worker ID. Shift start. Okay, so shift start time. Volunteer activity. volunteer job, and volunteer organization. Only confirmed shifts. Okay, so we're gonna have status is confirmed. Okay, and then upcoming. So the time matters in this one too. So the shift start date, it could be next 30 days. Okay, so next 30 days. So these are all the shifts that I'm sign up in the next 30 days. Okay. All right. And then is shift volunteer true? Okay. So these are all my the shifts for that person that are confirmed in the next 30 days. Okay. And then we're gonna show all these things. All right, so let's name this my upcoming shifts. And we're gonna save and run it. And we're gonna save it to our folder. Save, okay. All right, so that one's pretty cool. That was pretty easy. Need a reminder now and then. Upcoming report. Show a user which of their confirmed shift is starting next 30 days using custom report. Tabular report showing the volunteer shift. Only confirmed shift. Okay, that one's pretty straightforward. Again, we can probably sort this one if we wanted. Ascending, right? Ascending, so it shows the earliest to the latest. Save it. Okay. All right. I think that one's pretty straightforward. Okay, my top volunteer organizations. Okay, so this is, once again, we're gonna create a new report. We're gonna do a user with volunteer shifts. Okay, friendly competition has developed in the office to see which volunteer organization can accrue the most hours. The top volunteer organization report. Okay. Oh, okay. You know what? This is the. Let's skip this one for now. Let's do top volunteers. Okay. This one we're gonna do in a minute. Okay. But this is the Okay, so this one's still using the user with volunteer shift worker. Okay, so we're gonna skip this one for now. We're gonna do top volunteers. Okay, so top volunteers, we're gonna use that report type for user with volunteer shift worker. Okay, and we're gonna call this one top volunteers. Okay, so let's name that one. and then this one's gonna have a report chart too. Okay, report and report chart. Okay, so that means we're gonna create also a top volunteer report chart. Okay, doesn't say it here, but that's what that means, this and symbol. Okay. Help these volunteers prepare for fame using the custom report type with user data. Okay, so the user data, the summary report. Okay, so this one's going to be a summary report. Okay, summary report groups by volunteer names and summarize each volunteer hours. Okay, so we're gonna group it by volunteer name. Okay, so let's see, volunteer username, first name. Okay, or it could be, I think it's the full name. Let me see. I think it's there. Okay, contact full name. Okay, so we're gonna use that. What? There's no full name? Oh. Okay, full name, just full name. Okay, there's your full name. Okay, so we're grouping it by full name, and then let's see. Okay, by volunteer's name. It says name, but you can do full name, and summarize each volunteer hours. Okay, and then we're gonna do hours. Okay, so it's gonna be hours. Let's see, hours. Shift hours. Okay, and then we're not gonna have the detail. We're gonna just summarize the hours. Okay, so that's what that means. Detail rows. We're just gonna have the hours. Okay, and okay, so just okay. It says summarize each volunteer hours. Okay, summarize. Okay, be sure to report includes only completed hours. Okay, so now we're gonna go to filter. Okay, status. Once again, status. Oops. Status, and it's gonna be completed, so that means it's nothing, it's in the past. Okay, and then is no completed, and then we're gonna do all time. Let's do all time. So what? Nobody's completed any hours? What's going on here? Hide details and sort volunteers from most to least hours. The report chart is a horizontal bar called top volunteers, showing the shift hours. Okay. What happened here? All users. Okay, let's save this for now. We'll take a look at the okay, select your folder. Let's take a look at the report. What was this? Top volunteers, right? Top volunteers. So this top volunteers, the way you can get data in there is by making sure that you have completed. So the status can be it needs to be completed, right? So let's see if we have any data. Okay, see, this hasn't passed yet. Okay, let's create another Let's do one for me. Completed. Okay, well, it can't be completed because it hasn't passed yet, right? So I guess that has to be a shift that has been completed already. Let's go back to a different account. Let's go to this one because they have some data entry jobs that have been done already. Let's see. Okay, this has been done. Let's see. So how does it go? See, confirm. See, we're gonna put completed, and it goes back to confirm. Why? That might have to do with our process. So nothing is going to complete it. Alright. So those reports might not be showing anything because nobody's status goes from confirmed to completed because there's nothing that does that in here. Okay. But after let me get out of this volunteer tracker. You guys are going to create that later. So let's just continue here with the reports. Yeah, so the volunteer report, once you create your report, you just need to create a graph, okay? So we're gonna go to top volunteers once again. Okay, and then you're gonna add a chart. Okay, so you're gonna add, it says horizontal bar. Okay, so horizontal bar, and it's gonna be called top volunteers. Okay, so you're gonna create your top volunteers, and let's see, and the shift hours. Okay, shift hours. Okay, just like that. I don't know. Okay, don't hit remove because alright, and just save that. Save and run. Yeah, let's see why there's no I think that has to do with our, because right now it seems that all the reports, I mean all the shifts are confirmed, but there's none that is completed, and that could have something to do with the process. I think that approval process. Let's take a look at that approval process, because as you saw earlier, every time I changed the status to completed, it went back to confirmed. So I'm not sure why that's happening. Let's take a look at the the approval process is only, I don't think this is it. It's probably the process builder. Let's see, process builder. Because you know what? There was another. See, because it says if it's self-volunteer, update status to confirm. See? So I think this is what's causing it to always. It says no criteria, just update records. So see, it's always updating it to confirm. So maybe I'll get rid of this. You can't just change stuff in here. You gotta copy it. Oh, you gotta clone this thing. See? Okay, so updated when it meets all the criteria. I guess this is not gonna change it each time. Let's activate that. Okay. Yeah, because it was changing it all the time. So let's see. Alright, so this passed already, so let's see if we can put this to completed. Aha, completed. Alright, so we had a process builder that each time it was the status was changed, or where it didn't matter, it was just always putting it to confirm if it was you doing it. So now if this is empty and we sign up for the shift, only if it was empty it'll put it confirm. Now if it's any other state and you change it, then it's not gonna trigger that automatic process. Okay, so see, now we have a completed one. So basically what we did was we went to our process builder, and I went to my process builder and we had to clone it. Like if it's already active, then you got to clone it to make a change, right? And then we put some criteria, right? So it's only going to process this if that criteria is met, which means the status, there's no status to begin with, right? Because it's something new, you just sign up, so there's no status to begin, and it's gonna set the status to confirm if you're signing up for the first time. Now if you're changing it, if somebody else is changing it, then they're gonna allow us to change it now, so we can use other statuses, because this was automatically putting it to confirm each time for everything. So we now have a condition which it's only going to trigger this when the status is null. When there's no status, then it's going to do the process, okay? Now if there's already a status in there and you want to change it to completed, now we can put it to complete. And now we're going to be able to see something in the reports now. So see, this one's completed. So we can go in through some of these. Let's say that Dan Wong showed up. Okay, so this one, since it's somebody else, see, I can't just put him to complete because there's the launch shift approver process. See, that had to go to get approved. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so I'm confirm. Okay, so I'm gonna put completed on this one, so I can complete the ones for myself. So this is just for the reports to show something, right? Okay, all right. So now, if we go back to our reports and we go back to my top volunteers, see, now we got some data showing up. Okay, so that's how you make your data show up. It has to do with that process builder we did in step 3. We need to put a condition for it to not trigger every time. It only needs to trigger when there's no status at all, and that's how you do that. Okay, that way these other reports work better. Okay, so we'll take a note in that. Okay, great. Okay, so let's just go ahead and continue with our reports. We're gonna go ahead and complete this last report we got going, which we skipped. We had skipped this one, top volunteer organizations. Okay, so top volunteer, we're gonna do a new report. Now this one has to do with accounts. Okay, so it's gonna be accounts with volunteer activities and volunteer jobs. Okay. So this is counting the top volunteer organizations. All right, so we got our top volunteer organization, the top volunteer organization report. So that's the name of it, top volunteer organization. and it's a report chart also, using the custom report type with account data. Okay, so account with volunteer activities and volunteer jobs. The summary report shows a list of volunteer organizations. Okay, so we got volunteer organizations. Okay. With each org attributed volunteer hours. Okay, so we got volunteer hours, attributed volunteer hours, rank from most to least. Okay, so we can get rid of that, and this. Alright, so we're gonna rank it from most to least. Okay. And we're gonna, okay, so I guess this is gonna go, we're gonna group them by volunteer organization. Okay, and then we're gonna get rid of that, we're gonna get rid of that, and grand total. Okay, and then we're gonna I'm gonna sort it. What? Wait. I'm gonna sort it by sum of attribute hours, and we're gonna go down. Okay. There we go. Okay. So we turn off all these details. So we just want to see the. We're gonna group it by volunteer organizations, and it's gonna be sorted by the total hours. Okay. Sum of attributed hours. Okay. So there you just see the organization and the total hours. That's all. Okay. And then we're gonna add a chart to this one too, right? Most to least, details aren't necessary. Report chart, horizontal bar. Okay, so we're gonna add our chart, and it's our horizontal bar. We're gonna call it top organizations. Some attribute hours. Okay, and okay, I guess that's just a graph. So organizations. It's in alphabetical order. Show reference lines. Show values. Okay, show attributed hours on x-axis. Okay, all right, that's good. That's it. Save and run. Okay, save it to your folder. Hit save. All right. Okay, there you go. Okay. All right, so now here's the dashboard. All right, so once we got our reports, we got our dashboard. So we can hop on to our dashboard. So we're gonna create a new dashboard. Call it My Volunteer Information. And you're gonna select the folder, Volunteer Dashboard. Okay. Select your folder and save it. Okay, so there's your dashboard. All right, this is pretty straightforward. We're just gonna add these reports. Okay, so commitments progress. Okay, so we're gonna add a component. I'm gonna add my top volunteer organizations. And then it says the total hours display inside chart. Okay, total hours display. And then it's gonna be my top volunteer organization. Okay, so the footer. Okay, so that's the name of the footer. Okay, footer's right there. Paste that in there. And it says component details, donut chart. Okay, so you want a donut. Sort rows by value ascending. Sort rows. What? Value. Okay, value ascending. Max values 5. Okay, it's just your upper left. Values. Let me see. Hello? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, bye. Okay. Value ascending. Okay, values ascending. Okay. Sum by value. Sum attribute hours. All right. So you got your report, the title. Yeah. Okay, here's your title. The footer. We're getting the data from here. It's a donut chart. Sort rows by. Okay, so this is value ascending. So sort by attribute ascending. Okay, by the numbers. All right, just add that, and then it says component size 3 cells wide. Right, 3 cells wide, and then 6 cells high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so make it kind of small like that. All right, and then it says upper left. Great. All right. Then my volunteer shift approval. Okay. So my shift pending. Okay, so my shift pending. Okay, so you do my shifts pending. This is gonna be a lightning table. Okay, so it's a table ready. Great. Footer, click the shift. Okay, so that one's gonna be footer. Just paste that in there. My shift pending approval. Okay, lightning table, columns. Okay, so the columns, let's see, columns. Okay, columns, we want volunteer shift, worker ID, one shift start time, activity. Where's the job? Okay, so look for the job, volunteer job. Okay, and activity, and organization. No. Okay, so activity and job and activity. Then column, shift, start time. Okay, column, shift. What? Sort column. Okay, sort by start time. Start time. Descending. Ascending. Ascending. Max groups 5. Okay, max groups 5. Okay. Groups 5. Okay, so that's it. Alright. And then this is gonna be on 6 cells wide. Okay, got 4, 5, 6. And then 3 high. 1, 2, 3. And then this goes in the upper right. upper right. Okay. All right, great. Okay, one more. Okay. My upcoming shifts. Okay, my upcoming shifts. Okay, and then we got no footer. Right. Okay, so my upcoming confirmed shifts. Okay, so that's the title. Yeah, make sure you guys have the right titles. My upcoming confirmed shifts. Then you go up here. My upcoming confirmed shifts. Okay. Then okay, lightning table. Okay, columns. Okay, let's go up to columns. We need volunteer shift worker ID. Volunteer shift start time. Volunteer activity job. Okay. That's it. Okay, and then sort by start time. Ascending. All right. Display groups 5. Okay. Alright. That one's simple. Pretty simple. And then this one's 3 cells wide. 1, 2, 3. And then 6 cells wide. 3, 6. And then 3 high. Just like this one. And then this one goes in the bottom right. Okay. Where's the bottom right? Bottom right. Okay. I guess bottom right is just right below that one. Okay. Okay. I think you're done. Okay. So now we can just hit done and save it. All right. Okay. So there's our thing, and we got some data in here. Okay. Great. Okay. Now surface the app. Dan and the rest of the volunteerism board think the app functionality is awesome and the report's beautiful, but there will be more time for volunteer if the app was surface convenient. Your task is to bring all the pieces together in one Lightning app with that Lightning app homepage showing the volunteer data. Okay, so this is where you guys are going to create your app. Okay. So now, just go to your home, click on the app. Okay, app manager. Okay, so you're gonna create your new Lightning app. So, okay, so this is app name, volunteer tracker. Okay, image, you just pick any image that you want. Okay, so you just put an image. All right, and then, okay, if you want to pick a different color, all right. Okay, we do next. Okay, navigation standard. Okay, we'll just do next here. Okay, we'll do next. Okay, so here we're gonna select the items we want. We want accounts. We want volunteer activities. And what's going on here? Hold on. Come on, volunteer shift. Volunteer. Huh. Selected items. Oh, you know what? Let's see something here. Let me see something. Selected items. So yeah, so you want accounts, volunteer, shift. So I think these are the tabs. See, we haven't created tabs for these yet. So I think we need to create some tabs for this first. Okay. So let's do that really quick. Tabs. Yeah. So remember I was talking about tabs earlier. When we created these objects, they never mentioned anything about tabs. So if you want something to show up in Salesforce as a tab, you gotta create it first. Okay. So we created that shift, volunteer shift earlier. Remember. So if you do volunteer jobs, see. Just pick anything, doesn't matter. Volunteer, shift worker. Okay, so we got volunteer activities. Volunteer activity. All right. So that just lets us now, when we create the app, okay, so now we got our tabs. Now we can go back to the app. It's weird how they let you complete it without having. Yeah, let's just do volunteer tracker again. Then upload your image. Okay, now see when we do volunteer now. See okay, so see now we get all the items we want. And then we have accounts. Okay, and then you can kind of put these in the order you want, I guess. Okay, next. Alright, and then see, these are the profiles that can use this. So it's going to be sales, standard user, administrator, and the sales profile. Custom sales profile. Okay. Alright, and okay, that's it. Alright, and then we got Lightning app page details. Okay, so this is a page. So you go and now you're gonna create a new page. Okay, it's a new page, and this is gonna be a home page, right? App page. Okay, so it's an app page, right? And you're gonna call it that. Alright, so okay, so we're gonna do next. So volunteering data. Then it's gonna be header and 3 columns. Okay, so header and 3 regions. Okay. Then top component is gonna be my volunteer information dashboard. Okay, components. Okay, so it's gonna be a dashboard up here. Okay, so dashboard is gonna be okay. So my volunteers, so the dashboard you created, and then bottom left. Okay, volunteer organization report chart. Okay, so it's gonna be a chart, report chart, and it's gonna be what is it? Volunteer organization. Okay, top volunteer organization report. Okay, so it's gonna be your report, and then bottom left, bottom middle. So that's another chart. It's gonna be bottom mid, top volunteers. Okay, so top volunteers, and then bottom right. 5 recent items. Okay, so this is gonna be something else. It's gonna be a recent items thing. Okay, and it's gonna be 5 records to display. Let's see. It says 5 recent items, activities, and volunteers. Recent activities, recently viewed activities and jobs. Okay. Oh, okay, so it's gonna be called that recently, and then it's gonna be from volunteer activity and volunteer jobs with label. Okay. so it's gonna be, oh, it's gonna be from volunteer activity and volunteer jobs. Let's see, object, volunteer. Okay, so volunteer activity and volunteer jobs. Okay, so the 5 most recent volunteer activities, volunteer jobs. Okay, icon, whatever you want. Lightning app placement on the volunteer tracker, top of the list. Okay, so let's save this. Activate. Okay, so we're gonna put this on the top here. This can go on the top. The volunteer tracker, put it on the top. Okay, it says in the Lightning app, in the mobile app, between events and approvals. Okay, events. Oh, here's the other one. Yeah, so you just gotta put it there, and then this one you put it on the top. Okay, you're done. Okay, so test it out, see what happens. Alright, so I think we're done with everything. So you guys should be good. You know, check those errors. Sometimes it's like alright, so there you have it. Yeah, make sure you activate it. Now you should have your volunteer tracker, your new volunteer tracker. Okay, see it shows all the shifts pending. Awesome. All right, so leave us a comment if this was helpful. If I miss anything, let us know. You can write it down in the comments or whatever. And hopefully this has been some help for you guys. And hope to see you soon. All right, thank you. Have a good day.